This is going to be part 1 of our video on section 4.6. We're looking at equations of lines. This equation, y equals 2x minus 1, is called a linear equation because its graph is a straight line. Notice how the first 4 letters there in linear spells line. We can substitute different values of x in the equation to find corresponding values of y as shown in the table below. So put a value of x, any value you want in here. Let's say 0 for a second. 2 times 0 is 0, and 0 minus 1 gives you -1 for the y value. So when x is 0, y is -1 on this line. So this ordered pair 0, -1 lives on this line. And you keep doing that. Let's pretend that x is 1. 2 times 1 is 2, and 2 minus 1 gives you +1. So this ordered pair 1, 1 also lives on the line. And you can keep doing that. You can keep generating ordered pairs that live on this linear equation, this graph of the linear equation. That's actually the first way that you learned how to graph. If you want to graph a line, find a few points that live on this line, plot them, and connect them. So these are the 4 points that we had on the table in the previous slide. What is the slope of this line? Well, we learned in our last section, if you want to find slope, all you have to do is count, rise, and run. We went up 2 and 1 to the right. So your slope of this line is 2/1. What is the y-intercept? Well, we're going to use a lowercase b for our y-intercept, using a lowercase m for our slope. The y-intercept shows where the graph crosses the y-axis. So here's our y-axis. Where does it cross? Right here. What is the y-intercept? Well, it crosses the y-axis at -1. Here's our slope. Here's our y-intercept. When you go to graph, you could plot these 4 ordered pairs using that table like we did on the last slide, or you could use the slope and the y-intercept. This is called your slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. That lowercase m is the slope, and that lowercase b is your y-intercept. So if we went back here for a second, the equation of this line would be y equals 2x plus -1. So anytime you're in slope-intercept form, it's really easy to find your slope and your y-intercept. So we're going to try a couple here. Name the slope and the y-intercept of the graph of each equation. Y equals mx plus b. What's the slope of this line? Whatever's in that m position. What's the y-intercept? 5. Do the same thing for number 2. Y equals mx plus b. There's no plus there. But the m is still in front of the x, so our slope is 3/1. Our y-intercept, we can adjust. We could have made this plus a -5. So that's what we do for our y-intercept. We're practicing finding slopes and y-intercepts of your equations. We'll do these other ones on the next slide.